6.3 equation of a line point slope form. So we looked at in 6.1 the slope intercept form, and in 6.2 we looked at the general form, and now we're going to look at our third equation, which is the point slope form. Okay. So all three of these equations are really the same equations, they're just rearranged differently. So we'll look at in a bit later. You can just do a little basic algebra to go from one form to the next. But sometimes it's better to use one form over the other, just easier to get information. But you could really use any form. So in this form, we got y and m, y and x, which are going to be 1 point in the line. Y1 and x1 are going to be another point in the line. Usually, if you have just 1 point and you want to leave it in just a point slope form, we'll fill out y1 and x1. M is the slope, as you've seen before as well. Okay, so we'll go through a few equations and we'll see how to graph it if you have 1 point. So you use this equation usually when you have 1 point and the slope. So we have m and 1 point in the line. And we'll look at how to go from point slope form to the other two equations, the general form and slope intercept form. Okay. The point slope form of a line can be used if you know the slope at any given point on a line. So what we talked about. Example 1, a line through 0.65, so that's the point on the slope, and has a slope of 3. And again, remember 3, a slope of 3, or just same thing as 3 over 1. It's a positive slope, so we know it's going to be going from the bottom left to the top right. And it's rise over run, so it's going to be up 3 over 1, up 3 over 1. Okay, so let's check this out. Determine the point slope form of the line. So we're just basically using this equation right up here. So you leave the first y as it is, right? So y minus the second y, or the y on the slope here, which is 5. And again, it says negative 5, even though it's positive 5, just because of the equation, it's minus y1. Okay, equals m. M is 3 in this case, right? And just leave the first x, right? So leave in the equation minus whatever the x is here, which is 6. There you go. Okay, so we got our equation in point slope form. Okay, part B, graph the line. So how do we graph it in this equation? So first off, we know the point is 6, 5, and again it's negative just because of the equation, but it's 6, 5. So we go from our origin, which is 0.00, and we move 6 to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we move 5 upwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we get our points, and now we just use the slope to find some other points. So again, we're going bottom left to top right, so up 3, 1, 2, 3 over 1. And if you're going the other way, you do the backwards. So instead of up 3 over 1, you go down 3, 1, 2, 3 over 1 to the left. Okay, so once you get like 3 or 4 points, then you can get a ruler, which actually I should probably use a ruler. I'm going to pause this video and find a ruler. Okay, can't seem to find my ruler, but did find this white piece of paper. Well, we're not measuring, we got to create a straight line here. So line them up. There we go. And maybe I'll just do one all the way across. Okay, and that's our line here. And you may want to just label a line, but maybe just write it here. This is the equation, or maybe label a point on the line. So this is 0.65. Okay, so there we go. So example 2, a line passes through the points -2 and 4 and 3 and 1. Determine the point slope form of the line. Yeah, so now all we're gonna do is, so if you look at the equation here, we can, first y and x we just kind of leave alone in just the point slope form. So we have a point. We can use either of these points in our equation. What we don't have is the m, the slope. Okay, but you should know, if you remember, what is slope again? It's just the rise, this is m, over run, right? And that is just equal to the y final, y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. So we have 2 points so we can calculate the slope. So we'll do that first. Equation 2, just move a little up so you can see. So m equals, again, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, which equals, in this case, we can do either way. So maybe we'll make this our x1 and y1, and then we'll make this our x2 and y2. So y2 is 1, y1 is 4 minus 4, and at the bottom we got 3 minus negative 2. Okay, and then from here you just do a little bit of math, negative 3 on top and 5 on the bottom. Okay, so that's our slope, right? M is negative 3 over 5. So now we can put it as, either we can do our point slope form as y minus 4, and oops, this is incorrect. This is why you need a pencil. Y minus 4 equals negative 3 over 5 x plus 2. So that's if we're using the first point, right? Just notice it's plus 2 because it's minus 2 in the equation. Or you could write it using the second point. So y minus 1 equals negative 3 over 5 x minus 3. Okay, so either one of these would be correct. Okay, we're just trying to put it into the general, or the point slope form like that. All right, so example 3. Okay, write an equation in slope point form. So this is a point slope form again. You don't need to memorize these equations. You can use them on a test. You can either use the Math 10 curriculum, not the Math 10 curriculum, the Math 10 data booklet, or you could just Google search or use the notes if you like, of each line passing through the given point. Okay. So we got our slope here and we got our point. So what we do need to calculate is the slope. So simply you can just find the slope off the graph. So you know it's a positive slope because it's going from the bottom left to the top right. So you just pick any 2 points. So might as well just use this one and another one that crosses the, so it's easy, so I have to deal with fractions. So it seems like 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4. So up 4, I guess, and then 1, 2 to the right. So it's going to be 4 over 2, right? And 4 over 2 is just 2, right? So m is already 2. So now what we need to do is we write it in the form y minus, and again y1 was 3. I don't know why I keep using brackets. Y minus 3 equals the slope we just calculated is 2, and x, the x point is also 3, minus 3. Okay. So yeah, that's the general form, the point slope form. A bit of algebra if you want to like convert this into, say, the slope intercept form, which we did in 6.1. You just have to do a bit of algebra. So this multiplies into the brackets. So you get y minus 3 equals 2x minus 6. I'll write that. And it doesn't really ask us to do this, but so, and then equals 2x minus 6. And now you just need the 3 on one side, so you plus 3 plus 3. So y, let me put plus 3, y equals 2x minus 3. So this is slope intercept form. Alright. Okay, so let's do another one. And maybe I'll just put a little line here so it's not in the way. Okay. Again, it's a negative slope going top to bottom. We'll calculate the slope. So if you're going down 1, 2, and over, maybe I'll write it down 2, over 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So when you go down to, I'll put on the side here, m equals negative down 2 over 4. And you can simplify this to negative half, right? So now let's write it in point slope form, y minus the y point here, and then you can label the y point here, which is going to be the x is 4 and the y is 0. Okay, so we can use that point, or we could use the point here. It doesn't really matter which point you use. So over here, the x is 0 and the y is 1, 2. Okay, so let's just use, I don't know, we'll use this point here, I guess. So y minus the y here is 0 equals m, which is negative half, bracket x, which is 4, minus, oh sorry, we leave this x as no, just x, minus 4. Yeah. And you can write this also as, well, you don't really have to write the negative 0. Okay, you could move that out as well. So this is still would be considered point slope form. Okay. And so if you wanted to go the other way as well to convert it, so you can just simply multiply this in, and that would be negative half x plus 2 for slope intercept form. Oops. Okay, so let's do the third one. Okay. Okay, again, calculate the slope. So we'll start from this point. It's a positive slope. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 to the right, and up 1, 2. So m was 2 over 7, right? It's positive, right? So now we just choose any point, right? So we can choose, well, this one's already labeled, so we might as well use this point. So y minus the y here, which is 3, equals the slope, bracket x minus the x here. There we go. So that's the point slope form. And if you want to convert it to slope intercept form, you simply multiply this out. So y minus 3 equals 2 over 7 x, and negative 5 times 2 over 7, which is going to be negative 10 over 7, because negative 5 just multiply with the numerator. And finally, y equals, move the 3 over, you get 2 over 7x. So again, if you want to move the 3 over, you're going to have to do a little bit of algebra. So 7 times 3, 7, 13, 21. 21 minus 10 will be 11. So I did that in my head, but maybe on the side here, you basically have to convert 3 over 1. You need to have the same denominator, right? So 3 over 1 is the same thing as 21 over 7, and then 21 over 7 minus 10 gave us a plus 11. Okay, so this is, again, this is the point slope form, and this one right here, slope intercept. Right, slope intercept, point slope. Okay. All right, so let's move on to the next page. Okay, so example 4. A line in point slope form can be converted to slope intercept or general form. So remember, we got our 3 equations in this unit, so point slope form, slope intercept, and general form. So we're just gonna going from one form to the other. So we'll do these examples, and you can do this for extra practice if you want. I'll post the answers up, but we'll go over this. So first off, let's just do the slope intercept form. So this is again the point slope form. So how do we go into the other form? Slope intercept form is in the form y equals mx plus b. So y on one side. So first thing is you can do y minus 4 equals, multiply the 5 in to the brackets, right? So 5 times x is 5x, right? And then multiply here. 5 times negative 3 is negative 15. Okay. And now we're just going to move the 4 over because we want the y to be isolated in point slope intercept form, and equals 5x minus 11. Okay, there we go. So this is slope intercept form. And the general form, again, we just need to move everything on one side. Remember when you put everything on the one side, the x needs to be, the coefficient of x needs to be positive, and everything needs to be a whole number as well. Everything needs to be, well, not whole numbers, everything needs to be integers. So move the y over, and this will just be y 0 equals 5x minus y, because I have to minus y on both sides, minus 11. Okay, so you can write it like this. You don't have to have the 0 on the right. You can have it on the left. So let's do this one. Okay, so here we're going to multiply it in. That's the first step. So y plus 1 equals 3 over 4 x plus, and again, to multiply it in, you just do 2 times 3, which is 6. 6 over 4. And then 6 over 4 simplified is 3 over 2. Okay, so this is doing fractions ahead. If you need to do an extra step, you can do an extra step as well. Okay, and then slope-intercept form, just move everything over. So y equals 3 over 4x. So minus 1 on this side, minus 1 on this side. So minus 1 is the same thing as minus 2 over 2. And that's going to be, maybe let's do it in 2 steps. Plus 3 over 2. And then minus 1. So instead of writing minus 1, I'm going to put minus 2 over 2, right? So this would be y equals 3 over 4 x plus 1/2. Okay. There's our slope-intercept form. And now the general form, move everything over. So before we move everything over, just notice everything's in fractions. It needs to be, well, everything needs to be integers, right? So we need to remove our fractions. So what should we multiply this by? So here we can multiply everything by 4, right? And then we'll get rid of all the fractions, okay? So to do that, I knew it was 4, just because it's like the greatest common factor here. So 4, 2, and 1. So everything times 4 will give us, let's just do 4 times. So 4 times y gives us 4y. 4 times 3 over 4 will give us 4, 8, 12. Remember when you're multiplying fractions, you only multiply the numerators. 4, 8, 12 over 4. So 12 over 4 is just 3. Again, I'm just doing it in this one step because I'm running out of room here, and you could do it in 2 steps. So 4 times 1 is 4. So 4 over 2 is the same thing as 2. Okay, and lastly, we need everything on one side. So 0 minus 4y here. So 3x minus 4y plus 2. And there's our general form. Okay. Let's go again. So here, let's make a line here. So let's convert this in slope-intercept form. So you know that everything needs to be on the other side. So this is going to be y equals x minus 5 plus half, right? So plus half on this side, plus half on this side. Okay. And now how to add these fractions together? We can put 5 over, we're going to put 5 over 1 as a fraction, which is the same thing as 10 over 2, right? So negative 10 over 2 plus 1/2 will give you negative 9 over 2. Okay, so you can do that out if you need to write it out, but there we go. Okay, this is 2. And now we need to change to general form. Remember, we don't need the fractions. So 1, 1. So multiply everything by 2, the greatest common factor there. So I'll do that right now. So 2 times y is 2y. 2 times x is 2x. And then 2 times negative 9 over 2 is just negative 9. Okay. Now we're going to move everything over to one side. Negative 2y here, negative 2y here. This will be 2x minus 2y minus 9. Oop. There we go. Okay. Next video. Okay. So, okay, here we're going to do the same thing here. So multiply it in first. So we get y plus 3 over 5 equals 2x. 2 times 3 is 6. 6 divided by 2 is 3, so negative 3. Okay. Now move everything over. So y equals 2x, negative 3 over 5 here, negative 3 over 5 here. So it's going to be minus 3 over 5. Right. So negative 3 over 1 is the same thing as negative 15 over 3. So I'll write that out. So y equals 2x minus 15 over 5, minus 3 over 5. Okay, and now we can subtract these. There's going to be negative 18 over 5, right? So y equals 2x minus 18 over 5. Okay, there we go. Okay. Lastly, we're going to change this to general form. So what do we multiply this over? So remember, these are over 1. So GCF is 5, so multiply 5 to each term. So 5y equals 10 minus 18, right? The 5's cross out. And now move the y over. And I think this was missing an x here. So 0 equals negative 5y here, negative 5y here. So 10x minus 5y minus 18. Okay, there we go. So if you need extra practice, you can practice all this, but you also have your work in your textbook. And that's this, and we're going to move on to section 6.4 next.